There is a moment in 96 where the stylist asks Janu what sort of a haircut needs to be given to Ram, and she responds of all possible options like a 10th standard boy. In this passage, the filmmaker does something very difficult to imagine in a romantic film, disguising emotions. Because love is expressive, powerful, and above all relatable, we as an audience are conditioned to experience familiar feelings in such portrayals on the big screen. Prem Kumar, the director, beautifully discusses this wonderful scene with a strong underlying tone of grief. Janu's most vivid recollection of Ram is not of the man she met after 2 decades, but of her high school sweetheart who was this charming young boy. Janu is thrilled when she sees Ram with his beard now cropped, but you can also sense her pain and solitude as she still longs for his love. The essence of a flashback in this case is to convey a reference to an earlier point in the story. And the director masterfully portrays how emotionally scarred Janu is without really showing any footage of a flashback, but merely its components. That is phenomenal storytelling. Flashbacks can be both visual and vocal. 96 focuses on Ram and Janu's poetry of love, never straying away from that core element, and uses conversational cues to further develop this bond. When Ram asserts that he knows everything about Janu even after they've lost contact, an eager Janu pushes him to show his certainty, to which Ram responds with a passionate discourse of Janu's life after school. This verbal reminiscence leads to a haunting confession of a shocking event in the following moments. After Ram vividly recalls Janu donning a sari at her college's annual day celebration, the mood rapidly shifts to gloom. Previously, Janu wishes Ram had come to her wedding and prevented her from marrying, for which Ram does not answer then, but he now admits to being at her wedding, sitting in a corner, helpless, powerless, and defeated. Janu's detrimental change in her reaction is extremely well pronounced, as it serves as a means to process and understand past events. Through this one sequence of heartfelt dialogue with flashbacks to the past, the film brilliantly spans a wide range of emotions on both our protagonists' faces, utilizing words, sentences, and most crucially, our responses. Throughout this discussion, I have been pushing at the notion that Ram and Janu's bond is primarily reliant on a strong emotional backbone. When you love someone and they leave you too soon, there is a gaping void, a black jar of despair. It is so profound in this case because Prem Kumar does something vital with his first 2 key flashbacks. He makes us empathize about the characters. Ram's recollections are important in allowing us to relate with all these individuals on a more nuanced level. It asserts the memories of his friendships, school, the watchman, and of course, Janu. These experiences have stayed with him for years, and he's still close to his buddies. The watchman recognizes adult Ram even though he has aged, because in him, Ram found solace. We can also perceive why he remains timid, shy, and nervous in front of Janu throughout the film. Janu's recollections explore the consequences of heartbreak, the pain in not knowing why, the behavioral changes due to something you have no control over. It also drives home the fact that Janu is just as hurt and mentally beaten as we see her take Ram's seat in the classroom. She comes to grips with his absence, but the film instantly transitions to the reunion, where she is once again in his presence. 2 decades is a long time. People change. People mature. But love is not bound by time, but rather, it always stays true. This is cleverly illustrated when we see in Ram's flashback. Janu passes some food over to him, and as he eats, Janu smiles infectiously. She has the same endearing smile when she makes him some food at his house, and he eats wholeheartedly. That is just perfection. Flashbacks are not always instances of years ago or months ago. They are momentary as well. The movie uses this technique to ascertain Janu's sense of incapability in a scene where Prabha visually says something to Janu, but we are intentionally left hanging. The callback happens later at the house where she reveals to him what Prabha said earlier. Please take care of sir, he's a good person. With an echo of vulnerability, she quips, I know sir is a good person, but it is the taking care part of which I do not know what to do. It is essential that we did not hear Prabha say this to Janu because it is Janu's general perception of life and love with Ram now, and she needed to be that source of discourse. The movie also gives us a sense of closure in a couple of ways, some rooted and some only destined to be in fairy tales. I will address the latter part later, however, there is possibly no finer example of closure in reality than what this film provides for a character than any other film does with such elegance. Ram keeps requesting everyone to tell her to sing the song Yamunai Aattrile whenever she takes the stage. She keeps ignoring the request, her reason being he did not ask on his own but through a messenger. This part is repeated so frequently during flashbacks that it is established in our brains that we will have the sequence fulfilled later. And when it does happen, we are given to an absolute train wreck Ram scrambling for a light to merely see her face while she sings. Ram's clumsiness just adds to the sweetness of this heartful rendition. I also believe the film's most moving usage of a callback occurs because of the behavioral state established in Ram's flashback. He is never depicted touching Janu, even if she wishes to in the current day. She tries to create contact by pinching his shirt. He tries to get free without touching her. She tries to approach him on the overpass. He moves away. She deliberately places her hand on the train's handrail, but he notices and takes his hands away. The 2 times he does touch her is when he can't see her hands and when she is hurting herself. It's a credit to how brilliantly his story is written and Janu's affection is fleshed out. But the only time he touches her deliberately is when Janu induces him by placing her hand on the gear lever. He does not yield because of temptation, but rather to gain a sense of catharsis. He knows she is not his to have, and she knows he is not hers to have. But the physical touch is an instrument of bidding farewell and moving on for both of them. Keepsakes, souvenirs, and mementos are instruments for remembering someone. The wonderful thing about 96 is that it uses treasures to strengthen a broken link rather than just for nostalgia. When they go their own ways for the holidays, Janu comes back to the bridge and sprays ink on his shirt and tells him not to forget her. It worked. For 22 years, it worked. Ram never did forget her, and when he reveals everything relating to Janu from an old suitcase, including the ink-soaked clothing, we realize the essence of a flashback. It adds depth to the emotion. You see, feelings without depth are superficial. They are shallow. They are incomplete. 96 ensures that it never leaves us yearning, but instead encourages us to believe that these 2 individuals were meant to be, but will not be. The fairy tale I mentioned previously is when the film incorporates a flashback that is not factual. Janu tells the students about how they hypothetically fell in love and how Ram proposed, but it never occurred, so it's our sole chance to see them together in a happily ever after scenario. As Chinmayi's captivating rendition of Kadale Kadale plays in the background, she embraces him, and we see Ram overcome with warmth. Janu looks at him with a tear in her eyes, and we wonder, oh, what could have been?